Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am super duper excited for this interview to be taking place. I met this amazing lady maybe over a year ago. And when she shared her story, it touched me in so many ways because it's so relatable. But at the same time, so many people are afraid to share their story. And I am honored because she was bold. She was transparent. She was willing to understand when I say you about to be ready to be on attack. She understood the assignment, understand the assignment, was willing to take the assignment so she could be able to not only free herself, but to help other people to free themselves as well. So with that being said, I want to introduce you to the amazing Jennine as she shares her story about the book that she self-published, which is now a bestseller. Yes. So welcome, Jennine. How are you doing?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I cannot complain, and plus, it's not going to do us any good anyway.
No, it's not.
Okay. So I want you to take a moment and give people a little bit of your background and then lead up into your book, okay?
Okay, no problem.
You have and you can do as you wish.
Okay, well, like she said, my name is Jennine, and I met Vanessa almost probably about almost 2 years ago. It's going on two, pretty much like I think right when COVID started. But I had been back and forth with, I want to write a book because, growing up, I had endured so much trauma and I just kept it all inside. And probably in my late 20s, I started to realize when I wrote things down, I started to feel good because, of course, I got that idea from my therapist, of course. When I started to seek therapy, when I knew something was wrong and I needed help, yes. So I noticed that writing things down made me feel better. So I went back and forth with myself on whether I should write a book or not, because I knew that I was not the only one that had been through the things that I had been through. I always tell myself I wasn't the first, and I'm sure I'm not going to be the last. I will hope I will be the last, but in the society we live in, let's be honest, in reality, that's just not going to be true. But I went back and forth a lot because I was scared, fear. I was already known as the black sheep. I wasn't too close with family members, so I just knew that if I wrote this book, I would really be an outcast, hated, ridiculed. Like, I'm talking about all kind of things that I can't say on Facebook or they'll kick us off. But yeah, I had a lot of fear, and till I realized that, I can't keep living like this. Like, I'm not about to keep my trauma inside of me and mess myself up and not be a good person and be whole for myself or for my family or for my kids just so everybody else can be happy. I'm not doing that. So I decided to take the leap. I had wrote the book back in 2000, probably 17 or 18. I wrote it so long ago, but because of that fear, I never did anything with it. And because of that fear, not doing anything with it, I stayed depressed. I stayed with anxiety. I stayed stressed. I stayed unhappy. I stayed angry. I stayed all these things, all these negative things. It stayed within me because I was just afraid of what people would think, how I would be looked at, not only by family members, but also by strangers, because, a lot of people are upset at what I wrote in my book, not knowing that it's some things about me in there that I didn't really want people to know either. So it's not like I'm just, trying to embarrass family members. It's a lot of stuff in there that I don't want people to know, because I know, the maturity level of some people some people make fun and poke fun at things that don't need to be poked at. So I wrote the book. It's very raw and transparent. It's not cookie cutter unicorns and rainbows, because child molestation is not a topic that should be pranced around or tiptoed around. Like, no, it's my book is straightforward, again, raw, transparent. It is, it's a little vulgar language, but again, the topic is not a sunshine and rainbow and unicorn topic. It's a messed up topic that needs to be discussed more in families, especially the Black families. We're taught in our household, what goes on in this house stays in this house, and you just sweep it under the rug. Oh, well, don't let your baby by Uncle Ricky, or don't what? No. Like we're hiding all these secrets, and we're messed up inside. So you guys are content with the unhealed version of Jennine. But as soon as I started to heal, now it's a problem. That's not right. Like, okay, just say that's how it was. I'm not like that anymore. People grow, people change, because people do change. People make mistakes. But when you're not ready to say those things, that has nothing to do with me. That's a personal thing. That's nothing I can do about that. But my book is about me growing up. I grew up in the projects, Rockwell Gardens on the west side. Both my mom and dad abused drugs. I am indeed a crack baby. Moved to the south side with my sister, who, took care of us. I was happy about that, because living with my mom, drug dealers, bamming down the door, beating her up, credit too high. Me and my sisters didn't have the basic necessities: no food, no soap, no water, no clothes, getting picked on, nappy hairs, just unkept, just the typical life of of someone, parents who are on drugs. Let's not sugarcoat it. It was not a good life. So when we moved to the south side with my sister and her 3 kids, I'm thinking, it's gonna be better, which it was. We had the basic necessities. We were clean, baths, soap, food, like we were good. But with that came her boyfriend molesting me for years. So yes, it was better in the aspect of, okay, I have all my basic necessities, and I can scream off the building how thankful I am that she provided that for me. But herself and other people will still miss the point at what I had to endure. Like, we cannot forget what I had to endure. We cannot forget the trauma that little Jennine, 8-year-old Jennine, had to endure just to be able to get the basic necessities. Yeah, I'm grateful for it, but I ain't grateful for being touched and fondled and molested for years. That I'm not grateful for that. So, I'm dealing with that, and I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna, try to escape this by spending the night over friends' houses. Well, those friends, uncles, and big brothers touching me. So now I'm growing up feeling like I'm damaged, because why is everybody touching me? So for a long time, I held this inside of me, and I just became so angry at the world, because what did I do to deserve this? That was my thought process at the time. You got to remember, I'm a kid. Yeah. So how is a kid supposed to process this? And I didn't grow up in a family where, what's going on with you today? Let's talk about it. Give me a hug. It wasn't that. And I'm not saying, I'm not faulting them for that, but there was no foundation set for me to be able to feel comfortable enough to tell anybody what I'm going through.
Right.
And the people who doing it to me, they knew my situation. They knew my circumstances. I was told, no one's going to believe you. You're going to have to go back and live with your mom. You're not going to have anything. So as a kid, I'm thinking, I'm going to deal with this until it stops, because I'm knowing it's going to have to stop eventually, right? It can't go on forever. I'm going to deal with it, but, that's a lot for a kid to bear. That's a lot. I grew up with a lot on my shoulders. People, people don't seem to realize and understand that, like, a lot of people ask, or as I was growing up, ask, oh, she's so mean, she has the rest in B face. Like, no, this was a trauma-filled face. Like, I was how I was, and I say was because I'm slowly growing out of that, and I'm happy about it. Like, I feel better than I ever felt in so long, because depression and anxiety is no joke. Like,
Mm-mm.
it's no joke, and it's not fun. Like,
Mhm.
I've been dealing with it for 10, 20 plus years. Like, I'm done. I'm tired of it, So, I endured a lot, and that's why I was how I was, and it's years of trauma buildup. So it's not, I'm understanding that it's not going to heal and go away overnight, or it's going to take years, and it takes hard work. And that's what I always say, the saying, time heals all wounds. I don't believe in that saying, but this is just my opinion. I'm, not saying go off of, but I believe that in order to heal, you have to put in the work. Like, healing
Mhm.
is hard work. Time does not heal all wounds. You have to put in the work. If you're not putting any work towards healing, you're not going to heal. Time alone is not going to make that better. So you really have to put in the work and work on yourself to get better. So with this journey, I'm very transparent and honest with anyone who asks questions, my supporters. I'm very honest about it. It's not an easy journey. I will not lie and tell anybody that it's hard. It's
Mhm.
hard. It's hard. It's hard. I don't even know how many times I can say it. It's hard work, because you're going to be, like you stated in the beginning, your attack, man, that attack is, you're going to get attacked from so many people. I've been attacked by family, of course. That's no surprise.
Right.
I'm talking about, and people say, well, what do you expect? You wrote a book about them. I didn't write a book about them. I wrote a book about me and the trauma that I endured and how I'm healing, so that I can not only help myself, but help other people. There's a difference.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. So, I'm being called out my name on Facebook by my brothers, by this, and people say, why do you still call them mama and brother and sister? Because I forgive all of them.
Mhm.
Hating them is not going to do anything for
Nope.
me. And that's so big for me, because anybody that knows me will tell you I hold grudges. I
Mhm.
will hold a grudge and not attend your funeral and have a list that you can't attend mine. That's how I was. But the older I get, and the more I continue on this path of this journey of healing for myself, I'm learning that hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. And I'm doing something different this time around, because I've went through this before with them. This is not the first time that they're hearing about my molestation and everything. But their reaction is the same. So I tell people just don't know. My book is being played out live right in front of y'all. Everything that's in my book is they're playing it out, they're acting it out right in front of y'all. So, but I'm trying something different. I'm not fighting fire with fire. I'm not gonna badmouth them. I'm not gonna talk about them on Facebook and post this and post that and get physical. I'm not doing any of that. I will continue to fight mentally, though. I'm not going to let them break me this time. I'm not going to go back down that depression hole, which I did. I'm going to be honest. When my book first came out, all the hate that I got from them, I got depressed again, and I did have to seek therapy again. And this is what I mean by I'm very transparent and honest with my journey. It messed me up. It
Mhm.
messed me up. And that's what this journey is all about. It's not going to be easy. The way that they treated me, when it took me back down that
Yep.
depression, it really did. But I picked myself back up with the support from family and friends. And, surprisingly, I had cousins that spoke up for me. And you have to understand how big that is to me. I don't even understand how big my cousins think this is to me, because people like, oh, well, that's what people are supposed to. But when you come from my viewpoint, no one ever stuck up for me. No
Yep.
one ever, had my back. And when on the outside looking in, when there's so many of them against me, which it always been, people tend to believe the crowd. So if it's more people saying something about one little person, then most
Mhm.
likely they're going to think I'm the problem. But I
Yep.
had cousins that supported me, that reached out to me, that checked on me. And I had one cousin. She doesn't even understand how much it means to me. When I say she rode for me, people told me, because I wasn't on there. I didn't want to see it. And I told people, don't even send me anything anybody says about me anymore, because it's not good for my mental, and it's not going to do anything for me. I'm going to just continue to, fight mentally. But she really had my back, and that means a lot to me, to somebody who's not used to people having their back. I'm not used to people taking up for me. I'm used to standing on my own, taking up for myself, having my own back. So to hear that someone who didn't have to, because now you're the target. Now they're targeting you. She didn't have to bear that. She knew what came with that, but she still decided to speak up for me because she knew it was wrong. And like she said, she was tired of them treating me like this. They did it numerous of times and nobody did nothing. So I'm forever indebted with her. Like I'm so, of course I don't want her to be the target and, for them to attack her, but just, it made me feel worthy that someone actually stood up for me.
Jennine, I am proud of you.
Thank you.
That's not easy to share your story, because I've been there. It's hard. That is, it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's hard to relive every letter, every word, every chapter, another chapter, and then now it's in your hands, and then you get bombarded with all the hate, and then
so much hate.
Like, what did I do? I didn't do anything but just share my truth.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I've learned this, that when people say, what goes on in this house, I can relate to that, stays in this house. Well, what goes on this house is hurting me. What goes on this house is leaving me with so much trauma that I don't need. What goes on in this house is putting me in a position to have someone to accept this mess for my children. What goes on in this house, who's going to take a stand to say this no longer goes in the house? Who's going to wind up taking the lead? And since nobody didn't want to take the lead, I did, and you want to put an attack on me, but you just didn't know that God had his hands on me all the time.
Yes.
All the time. And that's what people fail to realize, is that we go through things for a reason. We don't never understand why we're going through the things that we're going through, but we're going through it for a reason. We can't keep the pain to ourselves. Mental health is real, is raw. We have to address these things. And once I learned that once you heal, like when you get to that healing place, man, you can find your peace. You are
really so good.
Don't it? It's like you are on the road to freedom. You are like blowing air in the wind and just living life because you got that monkey off your back. That is a beautiful feeling. And then you can finally sit back and say, okay, they thought this, they said this. Okay, what does that have to do with me?
What they say, think about me is none of my business.
There you go. I'm no longer attached to it.
I'm not.
Get to that peace, man. There's nothing like having peace from the trauma that you experience, because it's layers to that. Childhood trauma will show up in your adult life if you do not take care of it head on. It's going to show up no much how you want to run from it, no much how much people want to put a Band-Aid on it, no matter how many people say keep it to yourself, don't worry about it, we don't want to have family secrets out. All of those things, it gets better when you release it off of you. That's not supposed to stay on you, but imagine how many other people out here has been destroyed by their trauma. How many more people out here on the ledge because of nobody else supported them and said, you know, baby, you got this. Yeah. You got this right here with y'all, walking with you every step of the way. I got this. As long as you gonna hold on and not give up and give in to the madness that they want you to give into, I'm gonna be right here with you. We just need one, just one of your cousins stood in a gap for you.
Baby, she put herself out there. Yeah. I want to say her name, but I don't want. Well, they know who she is anyway. I just don't want her to be attacked again. But Tammy, Tammy, I really appreciate you. I do. You have no idea. Like, no one has ever spoke up for me. No one has ever took up for me. So, and my other cousins. So I definitely appreciate y'all. I definitely do. And this is why so many people don't speak up. This is why so many people keep it hidden inside, because everything that all my abusers said will happen, happened. Yes. No one will believe me. No one will support me. The police didn't do nothing. My family didn't do anything. I get blamed for it. Well, why does she keep getting in the bed? Well, why does this? Well, why does that? Everything they said will happen, happened.
You know
And
why?
I put it's a chapter in my book where you talked about you go through life and you just pretend like it didn't happen. It's called mask on, mask off. And I did that. I hid it. You put stuff in the back of your head so far that some of the stuff you really forgot happened. And
Yeah.
a trigger will occur and it will come up and it will be ugly. It will be
In your
ugly. It
face.
will show up so ugly. So
Mhm.
I always, people compliment me. Oh, you look so nice. You look this. And that trauma that I hid for so long, I will make it up. I
Yeah.
have to look good on the outside so that people wouldn't see what was really in the inside of me. I was a mess.
Mhm.
The outside, I was pretty. I
Mhm.
stayed, nails, hair. I have to make myself up on the outside, because if people really saw what was on the inside of me, it was a totally different person. It was ugly. I'm talking about years of trauma, unhealed trauma, aggression.
Mm.
I'm just angry. I'm angry at the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's hard, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. You have to, I was listening to a clip from 19 Keys, and he said something. Because when you get on this journey, you have to understand, again, you will be attacked, but your healing also comes with not caring what people think about you or say about you. See, I've always been the type, people will never know this, but I live for what people said and thought about me. Live for it. People, oh, you conceited, you think you all that. My self-esteem was so much lower than what people thought, because I craved on that acceptance of what people thought of me, what people said about me. But once you don't care about that, man, once you don't
Mm.
care about what people say about you or think about you.
Yes.
And I was listening, like I said, I was listening to this clip from 19 Keys, and he said, there's a difference from family and relatives. He said,
Mm.
relatives are blood. It's who you grew up with. It's who you connected with through blood. He said, but family is the people that God placed in your life to help you, and they'll be the first people to support you. So once you are okay and accept the fact that the family that you wanted, and the family and what you want, certain aspects and traits that you want from family members, once you're comfortable and accept the fact that you're never going to get that,
Mm.
real
Amen.
that's when the real healing starts. I'm okay and content now that
Yeah.
my big sister or big sisters or big
Mhm.
brother or mother, I'm okay that they never like me. They never will like me. They think I'm this, they think I'm that. I'm okay with, I always wanted that big brother to protect me. I'm okay that I never got that, and I'm okay that I never get that. But I'm
Mm.
going to do my best to mimic the example and create the family within my own that I have control over. As much as, because where you really don't have too much control over anything, but I'm okay with that now, and I'm going to create the family that I want. But
Yes.
once you are okay with that, some relationships, it won't be a relationship, and some love and attention that you won't get from certain family members, once you're okay with that, that's when your real healing starts to. That's when the real healing starts. That's when you can fully start to heal,
Mm.
because you're accepting of it. You have to be accepting of a lot of things, and some might not be what you really want. Healing is not always going to be what you expect or what you want to happen. That's not always going to be the outcome. And once you realize that and you are okay with that, that's when the real healing starts.
When you could be able to have a conversation and talk about the pain.
And not cry. And not cry, baby, and not cry, and not shed a tear.
Not one,
Not
because
one tear.
that's real, true, genuine healing. It's not wishing no ill will on nobody, but
No, I
I
wish
am
them
so
well.
healed because I know I wasn't the cause of the trauma.
I
I know it
wasn't.
wasn't my fault. I know that something was wrong with the person who thought it was okay. I thought
Yeah.
it's something wrong with the person who accepted it and just said, just overlook it, baby. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. I have a
Or that
conversation
happened a
with
long
you.
time ago. Just get over it.
Yeah,
Just
just
get
get
over
over
it.
it.
Like it
Because
can
it
just
happened
get
to me
over it.
too. You know, my mama didn't do nothing about it either. So don't even worry
Ooh,
about
it happened to me too. And
it.
I'm okay. You're not
Yeah,
okay. You're
yeah.
not okay though. You're not
Especially if you allow
okay.
it to happen to me. I'm just saying. But Jennine, this is one thing I want people to understand. The Jennine that I met,
Ooh, that Jennine was a mess. Baby. Ready to fight the world and did fight the world. And for what? And for what? Only to be unhealed and depressed again. No.
that
Mm-mm.
Jennine
Nah.
was a person who was like screaming but had no voice.
No
That
voice.
Jennine was the person who was pushing her way to freedom.
Huh?
That Jennine was the person who stood up and still would give her shirt off her back.
And
That
still
Jennine,
will.
okay, that Jennine will sit there and just push it to the side and let me deal with the situation at hand. But one thing that I really, really appreciate about this Jennine stopped giving her crown to everybody else and she started to wear it herself.
Yes.
Jennine started to stand up and use her voice. When Jennine had her book launch, and it was a good one, girl. When she had her book launch, I would send her a message, and she said, "How did you know?" Because baby, I've been there. I
Man.
know what that feels like. I know how uncomfortable it may be. I know that your stomach got knots in it. I know that you're ready to break down and cry because you just don't know the unknown. I know. But trust me, your story is mine and mine is yours. It's so relatable how God connected us and how we could sit here and have conversations like, wait a minute, you went through that too? Yeah, I've been there. It's nothing pretty. But
No.
what if I didn't share my story? How would this work? How would your book be so powerful and change your life? How would your book become a bestseller? How? But I had to sit there and put myself out there and say, you know what? Yeah, I had went through that. It wasn't pretty. I went through it.
You got to sit through it. And it is
Yeah,
not pretty.
you do. You have to sit
You
in
have to
it
sit,
because
sit in it.
we run from it. But when you sit in that pain just a little bit longer, baby,
Ooh.
just sit in it just a little bit. And I'm telling you, when you sit in the pain, you're going to start looking and say, wait a minute, hold on. How can I chip away at this pain? What do I need to do? But more importantly, where did this mess start so I could stop it?
You got to find the root cause.
When this is the thing that people fail to realize. The foundation starts at home. And when you don't have no foundation at home, you're dealing with a sinkhole. That's a sinkhole. You're drowning. There is quicksand. The sand just keep on coming. There's no foundation to stand on. So if I don't have no foundation to stand on, how can I trust you? How can I come to you with my deepest and vulnerable moments that I gotta say somebody done touched me? And that I know that you gonna take what I say and make sure that this person right here get the highest criminal justice and that needs to be, because ain't no way in heck you will violate minds and think it's gonna be okay. No, you don't get a pat on the back. No, you don't get a conversation. There's more things I want to say, but I can't. But at the end of the day, we need to have people to say, you know what?
It's not right.
There you go.
We'll do something about it. I did, and not to give too much of my book out, but I did have one person that made me feel safe. And I know it was hard for her. She was like an auntie to me. And it was somebody in her family. And I was afraid to say anything because from my, from routine, from my pattern, no one does anything. So I'm just gonna keep this inside. But she did what she needed to do to make sure I felt safe, even to her own family member. And that was huge to me. She did what she needed to do to ensure that I was safe.
See, this is what she did. Not only did she see you,
She
she
believed me.
she
She heard me. And that was
people that
Kim.
goes over their head. It was like, what?
Yes.
No. I see you.
He saw me.
You know what I mean? We fighting to be seen because we want somebody to know this happened.
She
This is
didn't
not
question me. She didn't say, well, run me through it or this. Like she asked me. I told her. She kicked him out. She kicked him out. That was Kim. I forever love her as well. She heard me. She heard me and she made me feel safe. And she didn't have to do that because I'm not, I'm not her family. That was her family. She didn't have to do that, but she did. So I truly love her for that. She heard me and she made me feel safe.
I appreciate that you used your voice though. You found your voice.
Man.
Nobody had to pull it from you. You found it. It was there all along, but it was like I don't have nothing. Nothing's coming out. I could open up my mouth, but my vocal cords are not making it come on. What we doing? What we doing? You found your voice, and when you found your voice, you did the work. It's not the pretty girl on the outside.
No.
But the beauty is all up in there. You are so beautiful from the inside. The Jennine that I see coming out, your crown is shining, girl.
My inside finally matches my outside.
I want to say so much, but it's gonna give it away, so I can't say too much. But you guys need to understand that when you have a story and you know that it's tugging at you, you know it's keeping you up at night, you know that it's really going to help somebody else. It may not be your daughter, it may not be your son, but it could be your nephew, it could be maybe someone that you really connected with at work that turns around and be somebody that's really more than family, than the family that you have. Share it. Share your story. Share it. Your story is somebody else's
survival kit.
That's
because the support I receive from strangers, they're like, this happened to me and this happened to me. And I did a thing about a couple weeks ago. I went to a story time anonymous. And it's where you go up and you tell your story. Sometimes they give you 3 topics and anyone can just go tell their story. It's really, yes, I did. So I had no intentions of sharing my story. I just wanted to go, and met some great people, and people went up there telling stories. Some stories was like how they found that they got cheated on and how they, the date from hell, so it was some fun
I'm sorry,
stuff.
I'm trying to close my mouth because that's not the same. I'm sorry.
No, it was
some powerful.
It was some fun stories, and then I'm like, I don't want to ruin the vibe and go up there, and tell my story because everybody laughs and but my name was called and I was so nervous, and I went up there and I shared my story. And when I sat down, about 2 women came to me and they said, you just don't know, you have a lot of people in this room. And they like, what's the name of your book? Do you have any on you? And I'm like, sure. So I sold some books. And what really got me is that, not only women support you, but men. I had a man buy my book, and he said, I read the back and it made me very upset. So I cannot read the book, but I'm going to buy it and I'm going to give it to my daughter. And another man came to me. He shook my hand. He said, I just want to let you know that you are a courageous, strong woman. And I applauded. And I was, you don't get that much. You don't get it from women either, but to get it from men, it was definitely an eye opener because people don't understand that this happens to males as well.
Yes, it does.
And if women are so afraid to talk and share their stories and tell their truth because of the backlash, imagine how the males will feel. They really not going to say nothing because then you're gonna question their sexual orientation, and so it's just just be kind. Like the world we live in, just be kind because you never know what people are going through. Everyone's going through so much, and just don't be so quick to judge. Like for real, like let's just create an environment where people can heal and talk about their trauma so they can just get better. Like just stop being so ugly. You don't have anything nice to say, just don't say nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
And don't enable BS. Like, don't enable people who are bad mouthing and being negative. Like that's why they continue to do what they do, because they don't have anybody around them to be honest with them and tell them, That's immature. You're full of crap. Stop that. So, just stop it. Just stop it.
What is next for Jennine?
Oh, Jennine has some things that I've been moving in silent. I haven't been posting what I'm working on a lot because, social media can be
Yes, you
a
cannot put
great thing, but it can also be detrimental. Especially that's where most of my hate and depression came from.
Yep.
So not saying I'm not going to post it because I'm not going to let them stop me from helping others or sharing my story to anybody. But I've been moving in silence. I've been on a couple podcasts that I'm going to share. And I got some other things in the works that I'm going to talk to you about off camera that I'm doing that's really big for me. Like it's what I wanted to initially do. Is I know that doing this and, getting outside of my comfort zone will help so many more. So that's what I think about when I'm hesitant to do things. I think about, this is going to help so many people. So it's not just about Jennine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't just do this for me. I did it for so many survivors, and I didn't say victims. I said survivors. I did it for so many survivors who still haven't spoke up, who feel as though they don't have a voice, who's afraid of the hate and backlash that they're going to receive. If I can do it, you can do it. Because guess what? The family that you're worried that won't support you, that's not the only family that you have. You have me and so many others out here that will support you and have your back. So stand firm, stand up, speak up. It's not your fault. And that's what I want everyone to know, because for so many years, I blame myself. It is not your fault.
Jennine, let's see your book cover. What's the name of your book?
Against All Odds.
That book right there will really put you on the edge of your seat to know that, dang, now you want to have a conversation with the people, the little ones, the next generation in your family. That's what your book reminds me of.
Yes, and I wrote it, and I wrote it. I didn't want to write a big book with author jargon or author verbiage or words, so it's hard to read. I wanted to write a book that would just flow like more of a conversation piece, and I wanted to write it like a lot of people like, oh, it's too raw for this child, that's too young. No, it's not. Because sexual molestation starts as early as 2, 3. It's not too explicit. No, these kids need to hear this. They need to. I have my 12-year-old read it, and I had to explain to her about some things where, I explained it to her and I had that conversation with her before it came out. But no, it's not too explicit. No, they're not too young. They're not too young because it's happening younger. No, they're not. Talk about it. It needs to be talked about.
Have access to social media.
Exactly. Like, so, no, it's not.
That's scary in itself. They got so much exposure than we did.
It's very scary.
So imagine no social media. I'm not trying to put it out there, but it's social media. They got a head start.
Or imagine growing up and you're a mom and your kid is wondering why you never let them have sleepovers. You never let them go out. You're a strict parent. You're not trying to be, but you're guarding and protecting because you don't want to happen to them what happened to you. But now you look like a bad parent and you're not letting your child be social, but you're like, I'd rather for you not to be social than be touched. It's so much that goes through your head and so much trauma and demons you fight. There's just so many fighting you have to do. And it's not fair, but it's life.
It is. I want you guys to make sure that you head over to Jennine's website that's rotating on the screen here and go get your autographed copy of Jennine's book. You will not be disappointed. It'll be a conversation piece that you need to have with your sons and daughters. It also be a conversation piece where the adults need to get together and to be able to come up with a plan for this mess not to happen to these children, because it's happening. It's scary. It's really, really scary. And sometimes I just wonder, like, what the Sam is wrong with people.
Yeah. I have friends that are school teachers and counselors who's recommending these books to their clients and their staff. So, I'm definitely working behind the scenes, moving silently. And I definitely have people that's backing me up, that's supporting me as well. So it's, this is not the end. This is not all you're going to hear from me. This is not all you're going to get out of me.
I'm so
It's bigger
proud
than
of
me
this
now. It's out of my hands.
I'm so proud of this girl. It'll make no sense.
So this
It's
is not it.
so
So
rare.
if you guys were mad with this,
You must get pissed.
then you better put on your seatbelt and get ready for this ride, because this is not it. This is not the end. I am just getting started.
How was the process with just the book, the whole process with the book? The ups and the downs and the, oh my God, can I do this? Is it time? Should I do all of those emotions that I warned you about? You was like, girl, no. And I'm,
See,
okay.
and you don't think, when people tell you this is going to happen, be ready for this, you're like, oh no, it's not going to be that bad. Then when you get in and you like, it's times 10 of what you told me, So it was an emotional roller coaster. Like, writing it was an emotional roller coaster. The process of publishing it was an emotional roller coaster. The trauma and the backlash that you're receiving, and just the whole healing journey in itself, is an emotional roller coaster. It's just an emotional roller coaster. Just, the self-doubt you have in your head, not just, you have self-doubt as a human being alone, but when you've been through so much, and dealt with so much trauma that we've dealt with, that self-doubt has increased times 10.
Yeah.
So you're not confident. Your confidence is really low.
Mm-hmm.
So I dealt with that a lot, trying to, no, I'll reach out to you like, nope, that I'm good. Let's not do it. And the bubble guts and the nervous wreck, like it's not an easy process, but it's worth it. Like I stated earlier, you have to sit in it. I know for me, I stayed busy a lot, but not the good busy, just the busy. So I won't have any time to myself to sit down and think about what I've been through.
Yeah.
It was intentional. I stayed busy on purpose. So, because I don't want to think about what I went through. But once you sit in that silence, take a day, just take 10, 15 minutes out of the day and sit in silence. It's going to be ugly, but it's necessary. So I had to sit in it, and it's not pretty. And this is why I'm so forgiving now. This is why I don't hate anybody. This is why I still wish them the best and love them from afar. Yep. Because you have to be cut from a different cloth to be able to come to terms to sit in it and heal. And I can't fault anyone who's not ready for that. They're not ready for that because they've been through stuff. They have their own trauma. They have their own trauma. This is what I mean by hurt people hurt people. So who am I to attack you because you're not ready to heal from your trauma? I'm not going to ridicule you. I'm just going to pray for you. I'm going to pray that one day you're able to sit in it and heal from your trauma, because it's a beautiful thing. And I think everyone should experience it.
Oh, it's so freeing.
It's so freeing.
Just even like the stuff that I have going on, a little bit about the background, and just to have the conversation now with my sister, she's just like, what? And she just like, wow, one day, I'm hoping I'm strong enough to be able to share my story. And I was just like, wow, we've been through some stuff. But my thing is, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful because I'm here to share my story, right? My story did not go 6 feet under with me.
No.
My story is here above ground. I broke through so many barriers. I'm still breaking through more barriers. But at the end of the day, I know I'm God's favorite.
Yes.
You're God's favorite. He's going to cover you when they didn't. He seen you when they didn't. He pulled you through when they couldn't. We are here to share our story.
For a reason.
We got to do this, right? And I'm just so glad that you did.
Yes. And I looked up, I researched years ago, like long-term effects of, people who have been sexually abused.
Yes.
And that list was so sad to see, because it's like, why must we go through all this and then have to still live with, and like, why is this all? Why do we have to go through all this? Why they can't? They the ones that did it. So on top of being molested and sexually abused, now we have these long-term effects that we have to deal with all later on through life. It was just so sad to see, and I just want to, it's so much I want to do to help people. Like, I didn't know what this book was going to do, and I don't even know how to go about everything I want to do in helping people, but it's going to get done. I'm confident, and I finally have faith in myself to know that I'm going to reach as many people as I can to help them, because that list is not right. It's sad. We shouldn't have to endure any more pain because of pain that was inflicted on us that we had no control over.
No control over. None.
We had absolutely no control over it. But we do have control in healing ourselves.
This is one thing I want to share with you. That really is, it really trips me out. We never know what's ahead. Fear. Fear shows up, right? But then the most successful person is like the lowest of the low. It's 3%. 3, not just in business, but in life, period. 3%. You telling me 3%? And imagine how many people wanted to do it, but they thought they couldn't be included, and make it 4%, make it 5%, make it 6%. We could beat this thing, right? So we could be able to be better for our children, better for us, better for our household, better as friends. That trauma is real, but in order to be so successful in it, you got to be willing to do the work. Yeah. And that work is hard. What they say, blood, sweat, and tears. They think that it's only for just in business. No, it's not. Blood, sweat, and tears is in life as well. You're gonna get some blood out of this bad boy. And that blood may not drip. It may pour, and you probably need to go get revived. There's going to be some sweat, but that sweat going to turn to some sweat equity. Okay? Woo! Them tears will no longer be of sorrow, but it's going to be of joy. So you got to ask yourself, are you willing to put the blood, sweat, and tears in so you could be more of the percentage of the ones that became free and sharing that story? Think about it. Tyler Perry. Hello. Oprah Winfrey. Hello. Tabitha Brown. Hello.
Monique.
The list goes on and on. So you telling me you don't want to be a part of the success to not only free yourself, but help so many other people take them on a train ride. And on the couch, pick them on up. Let's go get to freedom. Somebody had carried us on their backs before we got here. So do we need to keep going? Martin Luther King Jr.,
Harriet Tubman.
They went through, they got the whips, the chains, they was out there picking cotton and all of those things. They were willing to still put themselves on the front line and say, look, we're going to do something to break this mess. We're going to do something. I don't know what, but I wanted to put myself on the line to get out here to help some old people. Ask yourself, are you willing to be the Rosa Parks? Are you willing?
Claudette.
Are you willing? So many people, girl, I know this is gonna go there. But Lord Jesus, this is something that we have to do. We got to keep making awareness of it. We got to continue to use our voice. We got to stop shying from this thing. We got to understand that even though we have the bloodlines of people in our family, that just because family, baby, that may not be your family, because family gonna stand with you with thick and thin. Family gonna be there when you're right and you're wrong. Family gonna be consistent. But see, the one thing that I knew, and I had to learn this with not having a relationship with neither one of my parents, that God's been consistent all along.
He will place people in your life that will serve as your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother. Man, He didn't place so many good people in my life. Those are my family. relatives is something else, but my family is who God placed in my life that supports me and stands with me through it all. They see my struggle, they see my battle, and they still are here to support me.
I met some amazing people on social media. Amazing people. And you'll be like, I'll talk to them like Jennine. We can't wait to get off of him. But anyway, so it's just like you start picking those relationships and say, wait a minute, this is so relatable.
Yes.
You start building that relationship with them, you checking in on them, all types of stuff, and you just root for them to win. And then family like, dang, I knew you was gonna do it, but dang, you really did it. Yeah, I did it because people who really believe in me showed up.
Yes. I've met some amazing people at the post office that I'm in communication with, about working with. I've met amazing people at the storytelling thing I was telling you about. Like, you just never know where you will meet some good people at.
All you got to do is show up.
Show up. That's it.
And that's this is weird that oh Lord Jesus. The very first collaboration book that I did was an anthology called Cries of a Broken Man, Screams of a Broken Woman. And majority of the authors was in Maryland. So I went to Maryland. That's the first time I ever like face to face had I seen them, met them like on social media, right? When I tell you, I'm an introvert. I don't like all that attention.
Me too. I am.
It is so hard. But for me, that was really like my really coming out first event. And that's like my fifth book. I'm just look. But when I did it, and all the people that showed up, the things that you have poured into other people, you didn't even, I didn't realize that. I just did it because I wish that somebody would have did it for me. You know what I mean? And then to be able to make people there that's been watching me on social media, that purchased the book, that wrote book, it's just like the most amazing thing. All because I said, you know what? I'm going to show up. I'm going to get outside my comfort zone and I'm going to show up. Now, I didn't say I wasn't tested. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. However, I fought through it and I showed up. All you got to do is show up.
Show up and be yourself. Show up.
Yes, you don't got to be nobody else. They got so much people on social media.
And that's what happened with me a lot. I'm thinking, oh, you have to dress a certain way, present a certain way. You have to be politically correct. Nope, I am just Jennine, and that's where the name came from. I am just Jennine. I'm going to be myself and give it to you how I see fit, raw, transparent, real, and I'm not for everybody. I understand that now. I am not for everybody, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I'm proud of you, girl. I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud of myself. Oh my God, it took 30, how old am I? 37. Took 36 years to get here. Why am I giving myself an extra year? It took a long
30 nothing. Boy, that black don't crack. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. It took a long time to get here. It took a long time to get here, but it was definitely worth it. It definitely was. And I still have a ways to go. It's always room for improvement, but I celebrate all the small wins, and I am so proud of myself to be where I am today versus where I was just not even a year ago, but where I was 3 months ago when I, launched a book. I went to a dark place for a little while. So I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of
you. I'm proud of you. I thank you for trusting Inspired by Vanessa to be able to help you with this project. Because I know it's a lot. I know it's a hard pill to swallow. And I tell you all the time, these are the babies. Them books are the babies. You got to take good care of them books. You just can't throw it out there. Don't you do that. You got to protect the baby.
Yeah, you birthing your baby.
Yeah. Yes. And you did it with excellence. You really, really did. You did more than what you thought you couldn't do.
I did.
Yeah. You did it. When you had your book launch, you sold out of every last one of them books.
I did. I had strangers because I had it at a winery. It was a sipping sign. And I had strangers who came and just purchased books. A lot of my book sales are from strangers.
Yep.
Some I've never met before. And I get messages and, oh, You had the courage. I just want to tell you this happened to me. Thanks for being a voice when no one like, and it's like, wow. At first I was afraid. Sometimes I still am afraid. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. But I just say what's on my heart and I just, let it flow.
You did it. It was time. And you did it right on time, because you just never know who's out there that is like, look, this is too much now. It's eating me alive. And
It
with your
will eat you alive.
It
Ooh.
will. And your book is saving somebody. Somebody. That's the beautiful thing. It's saving somebody, because that somebody wanted to be seen too. It's a beautiful thing. I can relate, and it almost, oh goodness, we're gonna get ready to get in this thing. It's so relatable because we both been through this mess.
Yes.
Been through it, and this is not easy to be
I
able
remember
to.
first connecting with you with Judy. Judy on Instagram. She was putting like, if you have a Black business, I want to support you and put your, business in the comments so other people can help. And I saw you like, I'm like, this is a sign. And as soon as I told you a little bit of my story, it's like it's like you thought we knew each other for years.
Yes. That was crazy. But you know what? I'm a believer that, because I always pray like who, because I can't work with everybody, right? So I always ask God, you bring the people that you want me to work with. And he knows exactly who to bring, because the crazy part, we both were under attack at the exact same time.
And still under attack. It's like 6 months ago, a year ago, still the same attacks. Like COVID.
Yes.
Like, damn.
like what is going on here? And today, and I'm gonna leave this message with this. I said today, because something, I know I'm working on something that is big, and I mean the devil's been testing me. I ain't gonna lie. Ooh, been testing, sister. And before I knew it, I responded back to the devil. Not today. You're not gonna get my mind, my body, nor my soul.
Because it's easy to fall right into it. It's real easy. And it's routine. You're used to it. Yeah.
I was like, do you not know I'm God's child, let alone his favorite? You better get up off of me. Get up off of me, because we're not doing this. I mean, it really wore me out. And I was like, what is this? I said, oh, you want to go there? I'm ready. I'm ready. I know what this looks like. I'm ready. So when anybody feeling like they are up against so much, trust and believe you're about to birth something big. But you got to be willing to push. It's going to take some pain. It's going to probably feel like it's ripping you apart. You probably going to feel like this is not for you. You want to turn back around and return it back to sender. But I'm telling you, if you just keep on pushing, you will birth something bigger than you that will be able to make a whole change, not only through you, but through the world. But you got to be willing to push. Ask yourself, are you willing to push? And if you're willing to push, watch what happened with Jennine. We pushed something that was like bigger than what we ever imagined, because God don't put that on you and leave you. With that being said, Jennine, I'm proud of you, Queen.
Thank you.
Keep wearing your crown. You keep changing lives. You keep showing up. And watch, there's more to come. There's more to come. This is just the beginning. And I believe that this is the beginning of something way bigger. Just stay tuned, because Jennine, she's going to share it. She's going to share it. It's going to, when at the right time, she'll share it. When God say, go, she's going to blow the hell up. Y'all better watch out for it. Go over there to Jennine's site, justjennine.com, and get your book. She's going to autograph it. You would not be disappointed. That book right there, get with your children. Yes. Get with your children. And when you get with your children, get with adults in the children, the men and the women, and let's have a conversation.
Men and women.
Yes. It's long overdue. With all this mess going on with the sex trafficking and everything else is going on around this world, we need to put a stop to this, because it's not only around the world, It's not the neighbor only. It can be in your household.
In your own house.
So let's
Yep.
protect our babies, protect our legacy, protect the next generation, and it starts at home. Thank you so much, Jennine, for entrusting
Thank
us with your book.
you.
And I look forward to you sharing so much more. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful and blessed night. And don't be left behind without your book. Get over there to Jennine, justjennine.com, and you can find her all over social media. Just Jennine. Have a blessed one, guys.
Bye.